Fear has one job: to steal your joy, to kill your dreams, to destroy your life. But fear is a liar. Fear is a liar. And we proved it. All right, I am recording. I need to be right here. I think I set the mic to the wrong channel. I'm like shaking. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Hello.
I'm really happy that you're here. I love doing these interviews because I love hearing people's stories, and I'm just very excited. So I was talking to my husband about it, and I was like, I want to do something to kind of celebrate Blurry's birthday. I started off with this idea of just doing like a thank you video. As I started to interview people, I realized that everyone has a really good story. I realized that this could not be a thank you Blurry video. This had to be a documentary about the clique. This had to be a documentary about where we were, where we are, and how we pushed on through. I have had such a fun time listening to all the inspiring stories from the clique. But before I share those with you, let's rewind a little bit and look at where all of this even started. 10 years ago, a band called 21 Pilots released an album called Blurryface. The music and art of this album expressed a feeling of your authentic self being filtered through your deepest insecurities that are represented by this character named Blurryface, and how we learn to cope with this distorted view. This concept resonated with a bunch of people that were facing their own fears, insecurities, and blurry faces. These people became a community known as the Skeleton Clique, or just the clique. There's no need for government names. That was 10 years ago, and a lot can happen in 10 years. In fact, a lot has happened in 10 years, as I discovered sitting down, talking, and listening to members of the clique as they told me their stories.
That's such a good question.
I don't know how to describe that. What's the question again?
But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I want to paint a picture about where these stories started and why this music and community is so impactful.
I remember going home and listening to the entirety of Vessel as like a 10, 11-year-old and being like, what is this music?
I remember being in like, I think 6th grade.
When I heard Message Man for the first time, I was like, oh wait, like, so it's not just all piano music.
When I first became a fan, it was back in 2021.
I was in my mom's car. We were listening to the radio, and Tear in My Heart came on. And then the line about like filling the potholes with cement, I like heard that lyric and I was like, oh my God, that's really funny.
I never ever opened up about how I felt. It was more so, hey, listen to this song. This is how I feel.
I bawled my eyes out for hours because I had never heard anybody else describe that sensation.
This guy just said something very specific that I thought that thought belonged to me, but he said it.
How is this guy like saying the exact words that have been in my head for so long? I just didn't know really how to like put them to surface. I always say the clique is my favorite thing to talk about because it is so multifaceted and it's like its own microcosm and its own community in itself, and it is so beautiful to watch.
It kind of just felt like I fit in right away. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't scared they were going to dislike me. I felt welcomed.
The clique has very much impacted me, and a lot of my friends I've made, you know, they've been there for me in the sense that these are people who share the same interests as me and, you know, care as deeply about them as I do.
That was how I started, like, I guess, interacting more with people, because we were, I don't know, celebrating each other's wins. And I was like, I like these people.
So imagine for a second that you are an outcast.
I was kind of one of the emo kids.
I feel like I'd be more outgoing if I didn't have like all that pressure.
I didn't like say what I wanted to say, you know, obviously to just anyone.
Or maybe you're someone struggling through trauma.
But it's weird how only a few months later my mom went to pass away. Her anniversary is later this month for 9 years, and it's something I still struggle with, surprisingly. Right after I moved out, I got outed to my family because we didn't talk for like a year after that. They said some very hurtful things.
Therapy is out of the question, or maybe it's not working, and you feel like you're having to face these struggles completely alone, in full isolation.
Starting to really first experience my first instances of like really bad anxiety and depression. It was very much like this big, deep, dark secret. You don't talk about it because it's like, if you do, oh my gosh, like no one's going to see you the same anymore.
Especially as someone who was becoming, a social worker, becoming someone to rely on, I felt like I should have to deal with this on my own and that I shouldn't have to burden my friends with these issues. I didn't tell anyone about this until January. I didn't tell my friends, my family, my therapist, because I couldn't.
Avoidance ruined my life. Complete avoidance led to a nervous breakdown.
You can't tell anybody what is happening to you. And even if you could, you can't seem to find the words to help others understand what's going on.
Felt like I was by myself, but my environment that I was in was very toxic, and like it just made me doubt a lot of things.
But then someone gives you the words.
I had never heard anybody else describe that sensation.
This guy just said something. I thought that thought belonged to me, but he said it.
And a community formed around those words.
Stay alive.
Stay alive.
Stay alive. Stay alive.
Stay alive.
Suddenly, you've been given a safe space to talk about your struggles, to open up, and to not feel like you have to push through life on your own anymore.
The thing that stopped me from walking the 8 feet to an overdose that was sitting on my desk was, what are they doing?
I was raised in a very religious household. I was ever able to be like who I truly was. I always felt very like anxious through like their music. They kind of brainwashed me from a lot of that mentality and let me see like life for what it truly was.
Having overcome isolation, many of us in the clique want to help others find a similar sense of community. My favorite example of that is how my friend Shai started what is now known as the Trees Project.
The Trees Project kind of came at a very uncertain time in my life. I had been going through every trial and tribulation that you could ever think of to put on an 18-year-old girl. What I didn't tell anybody is a few months prior to that, I had also tried to take my own life. The last show of Icy Tour was 2 days before my birthday, and my dad, being the amazing human being that he is, was just like, we should do it for your birthday. Let's get up, let's go, and let's get you out of the house for a little bit. That night, Tyler ended up telling me happy birthday. And I remember walking out of that arena and I sat on the concrete for 2 hours, just having a conversation with my friends, bawling my eyes out. And all I kept saying was, how do I thank him for that? I started throwing around the idea of, what if we did a birthday fundraiser for suicide prevention? True 21 Pilots fan fashion, I watched everybody take that idea and turn it into something more magical than I could have ever thought. We set the goal to $1,201. And within an hour and a half, that goal had been surpassed. So in 20 days, we raised $23,000. We have everything that they could use with that type of funding. 84 yield advocates, 3 Out of the Darkness walks, 42 support group facilitators, 21 youth outreach programs, 10 community research programs, or 4 college crisis screening programs. If we take that with what we did this past year, you can go ahead and quadruple all of those numbers. It has been the most insane thing to me. It's definitely something that I think is going to outlive me because of this one silly idea that I had just to pay back Tyler for something that he did for me. We saved probably more than thousands of lives, and we just don't know.
I am particularly passionate about the Trees Project because it just took one person to show me that my life was worth it for me to continue. And this organization continues to do that each and every day, helping individuals who are contemplating their own existence, as well as helping those who have lost loved ones to that contemplation. So go ahead and click the link below to learn more about the Trees Project and how you can get involved.
I feel like I love like anyone in the clique. We all for the lack of a better word, clique.
Oh, I want to meet people from the clique so bad. Like, they understand. And meeting y'all, it was amazing.
Being supported by everyone, like at some point I was like insufferably crying, like about to fall on the floor. I was in the pit and I was just like sobbing for some reason. I didn't know why. I had so many like pats on the back, like metaphorically and literally from so many people.
It was so wholesome. Like everyone had each other's backs. It was just a very welcoming space. Yeah. I just really adore like what they built up over the years.
The people that I meet here, like I have such a weird instant trust with them.
It's not even just like two of us. It's like a lot of people get this. A lot of people deal with this stuff.
I think that the clique is the coolest group of people in the world.
Everyone that we met was just super chill, super nice.
I'm so proud of these people in the clique because, boy, I wish I knew kids like that when I was younger.
Like, I'll know they'll never really understand fully, but they'll still like absolutely support me, which I'm very, very grateful for.
I wanted to do this project because 10 years ago, I was contemplating my existence and whether or not it was worth continuing. I couldn't see my future, but 10 years later, I'm living the future I couldn't see. I'm married, I have a wonderfully chaotic toddler, and I want to celebrate that. Someone celebrated me, and I want to celebrate you and all the lives that people are dedicated to living.
Blurryface being 10 years old also reminds me of how much I've changed in the last 10 years. Like, I'm in a very much better place, mentally, emotionally.
Back then, if you would have asked me if I was gonna have this at 29, I would have told you no. My life has changed so much.
I've kind of developed kind of healthier ways to deal with it.
I get the luxury of time. I get to spend all of this time with this person I love and with my dogs. I get to help people, and that is enough.
My younger self would definitely be prouder of who I am. She would love that I know how to articulate some of these feelings better.
In case someone hasn't said it to you today, I want you to know that I'm proud of you. I'm proud that even though life might be hard and chaotic and difficult at times, that you're still here and you're still pushing through.
Sometimes it doesn't seem like it's gonna get better. I promise you, it's going to get better.
The first thing that came to my mind is, girl, go to therapy.
Talk to someone, like a therapist, a friend, religious figure.
Just be gentler with yourselves and make mistakes. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. That is the only way that you learn.
Try to find people that you trust and know, and just like confide in them with what you're going through.
You got this. Whoever's watching, we'll get this.
Reach out. There are plenty of people in this community who want to hear from you and help you continue to push on through.
It's not just you anymore. You have this whole group of people who are there to love you and support you and congratulating you for seeing another day.
Have people to talk to, like be more open.
You really have to lean on the people that you trust.
Sometimes you just have to keep on doing that over and over and over again. Eventually you've found your strength to face it head on.
It's so cliche. It's just like the whole truth. Like, it will be okay.
You can do it. You can start anew. I have done it. Be brave because you're worthy of happiness.
Life is worth living. You have to be around people who make your life better.
Your existence is critical. There's someone out there who will say, in seeing you, I feel seen.
So thank you for staying with me. Stay alive, friend. I'm going to stop your interview for just 1 second. I have to give you some news from Twitter. Tyler just announced that they will be releasing the demo version of Doubt. He announced it at the show tonight.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out. This house is a nightmare.
Josh or Tyler?
We always go to Josh's side.
Oh, Tyler.
I don't like to pick. I don't.
Josh.
That's fair.
Josh.
Tyler.
Do it. Stay alive or I'll hunt you down. difference. It's crazy. Anyway, I have to go. I will keep yapping.
Yes.